The door closed behind me. Warm air touched my face. Many people were talking. Knives and forks made small sounds. I stood there for a moment. I was in a new city. I was in a new country. I was in a restaurant, and I was alone. My name is Laura. I am 27 years old. This was my first trip to Europe. I came from the United States. I wanted to see new places. I wanted to eat new food. But now, as I stood near the door, I felt lost. No one came to me. No one asked, "Table for one?" That was what I expected. In my country, someone always guides you to a seat. Here, it was different. People walked in. They looked around. They sat down. I was not sure what to do. A man and a woman came in after me. They did not wait. They just walked to a table near the window. They sat down and smiled. I watched them and thought, maybe I must do the same. I took a step forward. My hands felt hot. My heart was beating fast. I looked at an empty table in the corner. I pulled the chair and sat down. The table was simple. There was a candle, a fork, a knife, and a small flower in a glass. But there was no menu. I looked around. Some people had menus in their hands. Others did not. I waited. I hoped someone would bring me one. Minutes passed. A waiter walked by. He wore a white shirt and black trousers. He held a small notebook. He looked busy. He did not stop at my table. My mouth felt dry. Should I call him? Should I wait? I stayed quiet. Finally, the waiter came back. He looked at me and smiled. "Good evening," he said. "Have you already found something that you would like to order?" His voice was calm. His English was not perfect, but I understood. I wanted to answer, but I did not have a menu. My words came out slowly. "Can I have a menu, please?" The waiter nodded. He walked to another table and picked up a menu. He gave it to me. "Here you are," he said. "Thank you," I whispered. I opened the menu. The words were in German. My German was very poor, but under each meal there was a short English line. I read slowly. I wanted something local. I found it on number 5. It said, "Schnitzel with salad." My stomach was empty. My mind was ready. The waiter came back. He held his notebook and pen. He looked at me with a small smile. "So?" he asked. I took a deep breath. "I will take a schnitzel and a salad. Number 5 on the menu," I said. My voice shook, but the words came out clear. The waiter wrote in his notebook. "That's okay. What would you like to drink?" I thought for a moment. "Just mineral water," I said. The waiter looked up. "With or without gas?" I blinked. I had not thought about that. In my country, water was just water. But here, There was a choice. "Still water with little gas," I said. The waiter repeated my order. "So you want a schnitzel, a salad, and a mineral water with little gas, correct?" "Yes," I said. "Okay," he said. He gave me a small smile and walked away. I sat back in my chair. I felt my breath slow down. I had done it. I had spoken. I had ordered. It was not perfect, but it was enough. I looked around the room. The people were talking in German. I did not understand most of the words, but I liked the sound. Some voices were soft. Some were loud. It felt alive. The smell of food filled the air. Warm bread, cooked meat, fresh herbs. I felt hungry and also proud. The waiter came back with a glass of water. Small bubbles moved inside. He placed it in front of me. "Here," he said. "Thank you," I said. I lifted the glass and took a sip. The taste was new. It was fresh and a little sharp. I smiled. After some minutes, the waiter returned with my food. He placed the plate in front of me. The schnitzel was golden. The salad was green with red tomatoes. A small slice of lemon was on the side. "Enjoy," he said. "Thank you," I replied. I cut a piece of the schnitzel. It was hot and crispy. I chewed slowly. It tasted rich and warm. The salad was light and fresh. Together, it was perfect. I ate quietly. I listened to the room. A family was laughing at a table near the door. A man in a suit was speaking fast into his phone. 2 women shared a dessert near the window. The restaurant felt full of life. I felt like part of it now. When my plate was empty, I sat back and sighed softly. I had done it. I had walked in, chosen a seat, asked for a menu, ordered food, and eaten in a new country. The waiter came again. "Was it good?" he asked. "Yes, very good," I said with a smile. "Would you like something else?" he asked. "No, thank you," I said. "Bill, please." The waiter nodded. He walked away and soon came back with a small paper. The numbers were clear. I placed some money on the table. In my country, the tip is often included. Here, it was different. The tip was not on the bill. It was a choice. I added a little extra. I wanted to say thank you for his kindness. The waiter picked up the money. He gave a small bow. "Thank you," he said. I stood up. My legs felt strong now. I had feared this moment, but it was fine. It was more than fine. It was my first step in a new world. When I walked out of the restaurant, the cold night air touched my face again. The street was quiet. A tram passed by with soft lights. People walked with scarves and hats. I smiled. I had food in my stomach, and I had a small story in my heart. That night in my hotel, I thought about what happened. It was just dinner. But for me, it was a lesson. I had learned that I could do things I was afraid of. I could ask, speak, and act, even when I was nervous. And this was only the beginning of my trip. Before I continue my story, please subscribe, share, and tell me where you are listening from. Your support means a lot to me. Now let's continue. The next morning, I woke up early. I opened the window of my hotel room. The air was cold, but the sky was clear. I looked at the street below. People walked fast, carrying bags and holding coffee cups. I felt a small smile on my face. Last night, I had ordered food by myself. Today, I wanted to do more. I left the hotel and walked to the center of the city. Old buildings stood tall with wide doors and big windows. The streets were clean, and trams moved quietly on the tracks. I stopped in front of a cafe. Through the window, I saw people drinking coffee and eating bread. My stomach told me I was hungry again. I pushed the door open. Inside, the smell of coffee filled the air. Small tables stood close together. Some people read newspapers. Others talked with friends. I looked around. No one came to me again. I remembered last night. I had to choose a table. I walked to a small one near the wall and sat down. Soon, a young woman in a white shirt and black trousers walked over. She carried a notebook. She smiled and said, "Good morning. What can I bring for you?" I looked at the menu on the table. This time, it was already there. The words were in German, but I could guess some of them. "Ein Kaffee," I said softly, trying to use German. The woman's smile grew. "One coffee. Anything else?" She asked in English. "Yes," I said. "A croissant, please." "Of course," she said. She wrote in her notebook and left. I sat back and breathed slowly. It was easier this time. I had tried a German word, and the woman had understood me. I felt a little proud. She soon brought the coffee and the croissant. The coffee was strong and warm. The croissant was soft and fresh. I ate slowly and looked around. People talked, laughed, and enjoyed their time. I did not feel so alone anymore. After I finished, I asked for the bill. I said, "Can I pay, please?" The woman brought the paper. I gave her money and added a small tip. She smiled kindly. "Danke," she said. I walked out of the cafe with light steps. My day was free. I walked through streets, looked at shops, and took photos. The city felt more open to me. I did not feel like a stranger. I felt like someone who could learn. By evening, I was hungry again. This time, I wanted to try another restaurant. I walked until I saw a place with many people inside. It looked warm and full. I opened the door. Inside, the lights were soft. People sat at tables with big plates of food. I felt a little nervous again, but I told myself, "You did it last night. You can do it again." I walked to a table near the middle and sat down. Soon, a man in a white shirt came to me. He held a notebook. "Good evening," he said. "Would you like to order?" I looked at the menu he gave me. I saw many German words, but also some English. My eyes stopped at goulash soup. I had read about this before. I wanted to try it. "Yes," I said. "I would like goulash soup, please." The man wrote, "Anything to drink?" "Water, with no gas," I said. He repeated my order and walked away. When the soup arrived, I looked at the red color in the bowl. I took a spoon and tasted it. It was hot, soft, and full of flavor. I felt warm inside. I ate slowly and enjoyed every bite. After the soup, I sat and listened. A group of young people laughed at a table near me. They spoke fast German. I did not understand, but I liked the sound. It was like music I could not sing, but I could hear. When I finished, I asked for the bill. The man brought it. I paid and gave a tip. He thanked me and smiled. I walked out of the restaurant feeling stronger again. Back in my hotel, I wrote in a small notebook I carried. I wrote, "Today I ate in a cafe. I ate in a restaurant. I spoke. I was not afraid. I am learning." The next day, I went to see more of the city. I visited a museum. I saw old paintings and statues. I walked in a park. Children played with balls. Dogs ran on the grass. The air was fresh. By the afternoon, I was ready for food again. I saw a small bakery on a corner. I went inside. The smell of bread and cake was everywhere. Behind the counter, a woman smiled. She asked me something in German. I did not understand. I looked at the glass case and pointed to a round bread. "One of these, please," I said in English. The woman nodded. She placed the bread in a bag and gave it to me. I gave her some money. She smiled again and said, "Danke." "Danke," I repeated. I walked out with the bread in my hand. I ate it while walking through the street. It was warm and soft. I felt happy. I could buy food. I could order. I could pay. That evening, I sat by the window in my hotel room. The city lights shone outside. I thought about my days here. At first, I had been afraid. I had stood in the restaurant not sure what to do. Now, I had eaten in different places. I had used a new word. I had learned how to ask. I was not perfect. My German was small. My voice was still soft sometimes, but I was growing. Each meal gave me more strength. Each word made me feel braver. I wrote in my notebook again. I am not only eating food. I am learning to trust myself. I am learning to speak. I am learning to live in another place. The night was quiet. My eyes closed slowly. I slept with a calm mind. Tomorrow, I wanted to try again. Tomorrow, I wanted to be even braver. The next day was Sunday. The streets were quiet. The shops were closed, but many cafes were open. The sky was gray. The air was cold. I walked slowly with my hands in my coat. I had been in the city for some days now. I had eaten in cafes, small restaurants, and bakeries. I had spoken to waiters and cashiers. Each time I spoke, my voice grew a little stronger. But one thing was still missing. I had not yet tried an upscale restaurant. That evening, I decided it was time. I wanted to test myself. Could I order in a place where the rules were stricter? Could I sit among people who looked rich and calm and still feel brave? My heart said yes, but my stomach was unsure. I searched online for a well-known place near the opera house. The reviews said it was old and famous. People said it served fine Austrian food. The price was higher than the small cafe, but I wanted to try. I put on my best clothes, brushed my hair, and walked there as the lights of the city came on. The restaurant door was tall and heavy. I pushed it open. Warm light fell on me. The room was wide. Tables were covered with white cloths. Candles burned softly. People sat in groups, speaking quietly. The air smelled of wine and cooked meat. My steps slowed. This was not like the small cafe. This was different. I stood near the door. For a moment, I felt the same fear I had felt on my first night. My hands shook a little, but then I remembered. I had done this before. I could do it again. A man in a black suit came toward me. He looked like the host. "Good evening," he said. "Do you have a reservation?" "No," I said softly. He gave a small smile. "That is fine. For one?" "Yes," I said. "Follow me, please," he said. He walked across the room and stopped at a small table by the wall. He pulled the chair. I sat down. He placed a menu in front of me. "Your waiter will come soon," he said. "Thank you," I said. I opened the menu. The pages were large. The words were in German, but English was written under each dish. The prices were higher. The names were longer. I read slowly. My eyes stopped at roast duck with red cabbage and potatoes. It sounded rich. I wanted to try it. The waiter came. He wore a white shirt and a black tie. He carried a notebook. He stood tall and looked polite. "Good evening," he said. "What would you like to order?" I looked at him with calm eyes. "I would like the roast duck with red cabbage and potatoes," I said. My words came more easily now. "Very good," he said. "And to drink?" "Mineral water, with no gas," I said. He wrote in his notebook. "Of course. Thank you," he said. I sat back. I looked at the people around me. A group of men in suits laughed quietly. A woman in a red dress spoke to her friend. 2 older people shared a bottle of wine. Everyone seemed so sure, so calm. I thought, they are used to this. For them, it is easy. For me, it is new. But still, I was here. The waiter soon brought my water. He poured it into a tall glass and placed it carefully on the table. "Enjoy," he said. Thank you, I said. I sipped the water. It was cool and clear. My heart was calmer now. I was part of this place, even if I was alone. After some time, the waiter came with my food. He placed the plate in front of me. The duck was golden brown. The red cabbage was bright and soft. The potatoes looked warm and buttery. The smell was rich. Enjoy your meal, he said. Thank you, I said again. I cut a piece of duck and tasted it. The flavor was deep. The cabbage was sweet. The potatoes were soft. Each bite was strong and new. I ate slowly, enjoying every taste. Halfway through my meal, something unexpected happened. The woman in the red dress looked at me. She smiled. Then she said in English, "Are you traveling alone?" "Yes," I said with a small smile. "Where are you from?" she asked. "I am from the United States," I said. She nodded. "I see. Do you like Vienna?" "Yes," I said. "It is very beautiful." She leaned closer. "Would you like to join us for dessert? We are trying the apple strudel. It is famous here." For a moment I froze. Sit with strangers? Speak more English? I felt shy. But then I thought, this is why I came. To learn. To be brave. "Yes, thank you," I said. She smiled and waved to the waiter. Soon, another chair was brought to her table. I moved and sat with her and her friend. "My name is Anna," she said. "This is my friend Peter." "Nice to meet you," I said. "My name is Laura." We talked as we waited for dessert. They asked me about my trip. I told them about the cafe, the bakery, and the small restaurants. They laughed softly when I told them about the gas in the water. Soon, the apple strudel arrived. It was warm, with soft pastry and sweet apples inside. We shared it together. I took a bite. It was sweet and soft. The taste was new, but also comforting. "This is very good," I said. "Yes," Anna said. "It is our favorite." We talked more. They told me about their city. They told me about their favorite places. I listened and smiled. I spoke when I could. My voice was no longer shaking. It was steady. After some time, the waiter brought the bill to their table. Peter paid. I offered to share, but he said, "You are our guest tonight." "Thank you," I said. When we stood up to leave, Anna touched my arm. "You speak very well," she said. "Do not be afraid. People will help you." Her words stayed with me. I walked back to my hotel under the lights of the city. My steps were light. My heart was calm. In my room, I wrote in my notebook, "Tonight, I ate in an upscale restaurant. I ordered food. I sat with strangers. I spoke. I was not afraid. I felt strong." I closed the notebook and looked out the window. The city lights shone in the dark. I thought about my first night here. I had been so nervous. I had stood near the door, not sure where to sit, not sure how to order. My voice had been small. Now, I had walked into one of the finest restaurants. I had ordered with clear words. I had spoken with people I did not know. I had shared food. I had learned. The restaurant had taught me more than food. It had taught me courage. It had shown me that I could stand, speak, and be part of a new world. I smiled and whispered to myself, I can do this. I can do more. And I knew when I left Vienna and traveled to other cities, I would carry this lesson with me. The next morning, as I packed my bag, I felt a quiet joy. I was still me, but I was not the same me who had walked into that first restaurant. I was a little stronger. I was a little braver. And all of it had started with one simple step. A table, a menu, a waiter, a plate of food. This was how a restaurant taught me confidence,